In a distant kingdom, nestled between rolling hills and a shimmering river, there was a land known for its beauty, music, and the legendary fragrance of its flowers. The air there was so sweet, travelers claimed they could smell the kingdom long before they ever saw it. But amidst the beauty, there was a secret the royal family tried desperately to hide. Princess Adara, daughter of the great King Faraji, was a sight to behold. With eyes like the moonlit night, hair as dark as the richest soil, and a smile that could melt the coldest heart, she was desired by all who saw her, until they came close. Adara, for all her grace and beauty, was cursed with an unbearable body odor. It wasn't like the common sense of hard labor or sweat from a hot day. No, her scent was overpowering, like a combination of rotting fish, sour milk, and pungent onions. From the moment she was born, the kingdom's best healers, herbalists, and magicians had tried to find a cure, but nothing worked. Her scent clung to her like a shadow, and as she grew older, the odor only grew stronger. Suitors from neighboring kingdoms once lined up to win her hand, but each of them fled after their first encounter with the smell. Some fainted on the spot, while others ran straight back to their homes, vowing never to return. Whispers spread throughout the land. The princess is cursed. Adara's heart broke with every rejection. She was kind, gentle, and had dreams of love and adventure, like any other girl, but no man would come near her. She longed to be loved for who she was, but it seemed her fate was sealed. Every time a suitor arrived, Adara prayed he might be the one to see past her curse. Every time she was disappointed. One evening, as the kingdom prepared for yet another grand feast to celebrate a visiting prince, Adara wandered through the royal gardens, tears brimming in her eyes. The flowers that bloomed around her had once brought her comfort, their sweetness masking her scent, but even the blossoms now seemed to wilt in her presence. She felt alone, destined to live a life of solitude. As she sat beneath an old willow tree, weeping, a voice suddenly interrupted her thoughts. "Why do you cry, princess?" Startled, Adara looked up to see a young man dressed in simple, tattered clothes. His face was rough but kind, with deep, penetrating eyes that seemed to see right through her. He was not like the princes and noblemen she had met before. This man was different. "Who are you?" she asked, trying to hide her face in shame. "You shouldn't be here." The young man smiled softly. "I am Malik, a wanderer. I travel from village to village, helping those in need. And tonight, it seems, you are the one in need." Adara hesitated. Could this man not smell her? Surely he would recoil like all the others. Yet Malik stood there, calm and unaffected. You should leave before you regret meeting me," she whispered. "I am cursed." Malik tilted his head and sat beside her. "Cursed? Tell me more." Reluctantly, Adara told him her story, her voice heavy with sorrow. She spoke of the endless rejections, the healers who had failed, and the loneliness that had become her constant companion. When she finished, Malik remained quiet for a moment before speaking. "Do you know the story of the silver willow?" he asked, gesturing toward the tree they sat beneath. Adara shook her head. "This tree," Malik continued, "was once cursed too. Long ago, it was barren, unable to grow leaves or blossoms. The villagers believed it was doomed. But one day a young girl, much like yourself, came and wept at its base. Her tears were not of despair, but of hope. She believed the tree could heal, even when no one else did. And as her tears touched its roots, the curse was lifted, and the tree bloomed for the first time in years." Adara frowned. "But what does that have to do with me?" Malik's eyes softened. "Sometimes, a curse is not meant to be broken by others. Sometimes the answer lies within us. Before Adara could respond, Malik stood and offered her his hand. Come with me. Hesitant but curious, Adara took his hand, and Malik led her deep into the forest. They walked for hours until they reached a hidden spring. The water sparkled in the moonlight, clear and pure. Malik knelt by the spring, scooping some water into his hands. Drink, he said, offering it to her. Adara was skeptical. She had tried countless remedies, potions, and spells before. But something about Malik made her trust him. She drank from his hands, the cool water soothing her parched throat. Suddenly, a strange sensation washed over her. Her skin tingled, her heart raced, and the air around her seemed to shift. The scent that had plagued her for years began to dissipate, replaced by the sweet fragrance of the flowers that surrounded them. Adara gasped. What's happening? Malik smiled. Your heart was never cursed, princess. It was your belief in the curse that gave it power. You see, we often imprison ourselves with the stories we believe about ourselves. But the truth is, you were always more than your scent. Tears of joy filled Adara's eyes as she realized what had happened. The curse had never been a curse at all. It had been her own fear, her own doubt, that had kept her trapped. Thank you, she whispered, her voice trembling. Malik bowed his head. You healed yourself, princess. Never forget that. Word spread quickly through the kingdom that the princess's curse had been lifted. Suitors once again flocked to her door, eager to win her hand. But Adara, now wiser and stronger, no longer sought their approval. She had learned the most valuable lesson of all. Her worth was not defined by what others saw or smelled. It was defined by her own heart. In time, Adara became queen, ruling with grace and wisdom. And as for Malik, the wanderer who had shown her the way, he disappeared as mysteriously as he had arrived, leaving behind only the memory of his kindness. But some say, on quiet nights, Adara would often be seen walking in the royal gardens, standing beneath the silver willow, smiling as if she were waiting for an old friend to return. And thus, the story of the strong-body Odor princess became a tale of inner strength, self-worth, and the power of belief.